I want to see FSU put up 50 and win by 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm.
It makes you feel good.
Yeah, like they need to just put it on this scumbag, man. Like, just have him leave Tallahassee with his tail tucked between his legs. Don't even do a post-game handshake. You know, give him the bird as you walk off and tell him to get the hell out.
So I take it you're not a big Walt Bell fan?
Not one bit.
Hey guys, it's Terrence Nan. You're listening to Hear the Spear, presented by Noles Game Day. Go Noles.
Hey, what's up? This is Peter Ward, a.k.a. E-Dub, in the house. So we're listening to Hear the Spear, presented by Noles Game Day. Go Live, go Noles.
Hi, this is Charlie Ward, and you're listening to Hear the Spear, Go Noles.
This is Terrell Buckley. You're listening to Hear the Spear, presented by Noles Game Day. No Bloody.
But perhaps better known as the greatest corner to ever step on a football field, Deion Primetime Sanders.
Great Deion Sanders, my brother. What's going on, man? I could wake up to that greeting every day, man. That was awesome.
Hello, Noles fans. This is former Seminole Derek Brooks, and you're listening to Hear the Spear, presented to you by Noles Game Day.
James Wilder Jr. What's going on, James?
Thanks for having me on. FSOD, Florida State or Die, and go Noles.
William Bar None Floyd.
Gentlemen, what's up?
What's happening, guys? This is Logan Robinson from Hear the Spear, presented to you by NolesGameDay.com. As you can see, you never know what you're going to get on this show. We are back after a bye week. Not a lot of rest, but it does feel good to have some energy back. I know that we were kind of dead last week.
Where's Dustin at, man?
Yeah,
where's Dustin?
Look at this.
He's being soft watching Boston Celtics basketball.
So we're watching a season opening game versus Knicks. You know, that takes precedence over Hear the Spear podcast. I mean, come on. You know,
I've never seen anything like it.
That's our editor. You know, that's our That's the brains behind No Game Day. That's a quote for
that's
him,
what he says. Yeah, that's what he says all the time. But
he's
doesn't
watching
show up.
Boston Celtics basketball. Day one. Not even like a defining game. Like they win during the playoffs. No, it's game one.
Yeah. I hope Randall goes for 50 tonight and they lose.
Damn. But yeah, we're without Dustin tonight. But you know what? The fun people are here. The ones with the energy. We've got the basketball expert with us, Austin Veazey, lead basketball writer at NolesGameDay.com. And then Nate Greer, lead recruiting insider. Things for both guys are just churning up like with craziness right now. We had a good conversation before going live on both topics. But it is officially Walt Bell Bowl week, gentlemen. Walt Bell will be returning to Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee.
I've been waiting for this week, man.
Yeah, as your name says on here. Walt Bell sucks. That's Nate's name on the stream tonight. But Florida State will be taking on UMass this weekend. We'll do a little game preview there. We're not going to dive into it too deeply. I don't think there's too much need. Or is there? Jacksonville State happens, so you can't really overlook it. But either way, we'll be doing a full game preview for that at the end of this, along with score predictions. We're going to talk about the decommitments. Nate, what is happening? Everybody should freak out, right? Oh, my goodness gracious.
No.
Florida State loses 2 commits. We're going to give a little bit of the recruiting latest. We'll talk about Travis Hunter saying he's locked in for the 86th time. And maybe I'm going to see if Nate says if fans should be worried or not at all. Like it should just say yes or no. We'll do practice observations from this week. Norvell really loved the Tuesday practice, so we'll talk a little bit about that. NFL Noles, a lot of stuff heating up for them too. Dalvin changing his number. We'll talk about that. A former Nole kicker released. We got Clemson FSU kickoff 3:30. We'll do a little hint at that game. And then we'll talk basketball latest and AP poll, preseason poll coming out, and then go into UMass stuff. So got a good amount of stuff going on tonight. If you guys haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Also, check us out on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button there too. Hit the like button. Also, we're all across Spotify. We're on Google Play. We're absolutely everywhere. So hit that sub button, hit that like button. We are back. Bye week is over. Second half of the season begins. It's going to be a fun one, in my opinion. I think it's going to be a good one. But, gentlemen, let's talk about the decommitments, Nate. What is going on? We talked about it, though. We've kind of given hints at it. It's been in the Discord. It's been all over the place. And if you're in the Discord, this shouldn't come to a shock to anybody. But Florida State loses a commitment on the offensive line from Alu Ba, offensive lineman currently playing at IMG Academy, along with Trevion Williams. This just happened this evening. 4-star defensive end out of Mississippi. Both guys decommit. What's going on, Nate? Is this how the recruiting cycle goes, or should any FSU fans be worried?
I think that if you've had a pulse on this whole process, that, yes, this is how recruiting goes. You're always going to have decommitments. It happens. Bama has it. Clemson has it. Ohio State has it. Every program has decommitments. It's going to happen. It's part of the nature of the beast. That's why you never stop recruiting. That's why you never stop evaluating targets. At the same time, these are two guys that I think some were even surprised they made a commitment in the first place. Me, like I was saying in the, before we came on in the production meeting about Ba, I was surprised he committed in the first place. To me, that kind of came out of nowhere. I know that at the time, FSU was really hammering IMG. They still are, but they were starting to get some traction there. I think that, he connected well with Atkins and the coaching staff, and, Florida State was a program he liked, but Georgia was always there. Even after he committed, it was still going to play a role in his recruitment, whether he did an official visit and held on to Florida State or whether he flipped. And, he flipped to where he was eventually probably going to always land, and that happens. So, Florida State really is pushing hard, I think, to fill that spot. They don't want to not bring another tackle, and I think that's where, you look at the progress of Julian Armella coming in, with LSU firing Ed Ogeron. I think that really helps Florida State more. On top of, I think that Florida State's just been in a good position with him lately. There's been some positive vibes coming out of, South Florida with him, but it makes him even more important because, Ba's a tackle, blue chip guy. It always hurts to lose blue chips. And then with Trevion Williams, again, I tweeted earlier today, Florida State and Jimbo Fisher keeping Cam Akers. That's got to be a feather in his cap. Florida State's been burnt from Mississippi. You look at Altmaier last year, and then, Williams is a guy who I think burst onto the scene in the summer. 6'5", an athlete, plays quarterback, plays linebacker. I think he even plays short down running back. So the guy's a jumbo athlete. But you look at him, and Florida State was able to get his commitment at a summer camp, and kids in Mississippi you always have to watch out for. That's just how it is. Even when Cam was wrapping up his recruitment, Ole Miss was really pushing that he was going to flip, and Florida State held on to him. Mississippi is a hard state to recruit because those guys are always, I think, under recruited a little bit, and there's a lot of pressure to stay home, whether it's Ole Miss or Mississippi State. They get a lot of pressure to go to one of the two main schools and represent Mississippi. But Williams is a guy, again, another blue chip guy, a guy that I really liked in this class. Big guy, explosive athlete. Can get after the passer. So, Florida State was, I think, ahead of it with that offer of Eddie Kelly from Winter Haven. I think that was a sign of what's to come. That he's a guy who's jumped onto the scene here in Florida this year with 15 sacks, 30 tackles, and then you look at Nigel Kelly. Florida State's still going after him really hard. You got Marvin Jones Jr., who's the number one most important guy on the board. So, Florida State's not done at DN. They still are going to address that need. But, Florida State loses two guys. You don't want to lose two guys for the optics. But this is going to happen. This was kind of known for a while. So it sucks to look at it and see it happen. But, Florida State's going to move on.
Florida State now moves to number 13th. Overall in the country per 247 Sports,
which isn't bad. You lose two guys who are 3 and 4 stars. Depends on where you go, Florida State's still hanging in there. They have a chance for a top 10 class. If you look at, how they could possibly finish with LSU having a coaching change, with Florida and Miami, not having great seasons. Florida State can still finish in that top 10 after really having what looked like a top 5-6 class. So it's not over yet for FSU.
Yeah, and going to offensive line and losing Ball, we've talked about, we've had a few pieces go out this week on the site, but Nate talking about a few others, the number one name that always gets brought up, I'm going to say it is Julian Armella, and you lose, Coach Owa's, they're parting ways together there in Baton Rouge. How does this open up anything for him? Do you think this helps Florida State in a lot of ways? Does it not do anything, or is it just not going to happen? Do you think this gives Florida State a bigger chance here in landing the legacy?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I think that it does open the avenue and the door up for FSU. Armella's been the guy who's talked about stability and production and winning, and that's what Florida State has really missed this year. Being you're starting the season 0-4, but nonetheless, you look at the other teams he's really looking at, and it seemed like it was coming down to LSU and FSU as kind of the two front runners. So you have to, I'm not gonna say Florida State's in the driver's seat now, but you have to look at where they're at right now, and you have to like where they're at coming into the back end of the process. We're 6 weeks away from early signing period. We're 8-9 weeks from 12 weeks from signing day. So we're almost there, man. Like, it's almost over.
And if it's not Armella, what are some other tackles that are on the board?
There's not many tackles on the board. There just isn't. It's just part of the process. You look at the board, and a guy that I really like that I wish that they would go after. And one of the pieces I put out, 10 kids that committed that FSU should pursue, is Leighton Nelson. He's committed to UCF. He's from Orlando, goes to Boone. Guy's 6'5", 280, has that build that is kind of the today's age of football. Really athletic, great feet. I really don't understand why he's not more highly sought after. But he's been firm in his commitment. So, we'll see how that goes. And you look at the inside, the interior, with the possible upcoming decommitment of Antavius Woody. You look at a guy like Parks from Valdosta. I think he fills the inside role. Just that, Florida State has Ely committed. They have Dalton Richardson. So they have options there. What's really left at tackle is Armella. And Armella is a guy who can also play inside. So, he brings some versatility there. But you go to 24/7 or Rivals, wherever you want to go to get your database. There's just not a lot of options there because guys are committed. And Florida State's not in a power position to flip guys easily because of their record. And that's just simply how you have to state it and look at it.
Nick's asking here, have you mentioned anything about Boots lately? Lamont Green Jr. I feel like no one is mentioning him, and I wanted to go to Lamont Green Sr. and talk about. He deleted the tweet, but he put out a tweet after Baugh decommitted. Yeah, so Senior put out a tweet after Baugh decommitted and practically put up a little highlight, or not a highlight video, but just a short video of Boots getting around Baugh during the camp
easily
in Tallahassee, and it was pretty easy. Got right by Baugh and said, "If you're not ready to be here," kind of like on the long lines, if you don't want to be here and be along for the the growth and the climb, then just bye, see ya, adios. But he posted a video of his son.
I think that I've been tweeting some and retweeting stuff from Boots and Lamont Senior. He's having a really, really great season. I think he's firmly entrenched himself as a top 100 kid for 2023. You look at each week he's producing 5, 8, 10 quarterback hurries, multiple, like we're talking 5, 8 tackles for loss, a couple of sacks a game, double-digit tackles. So he's getting after it. And the really positive thing is how quickly he's filling out. He's a big kid, man. So, I think that, he is firmly one of the top guys in 2023. And, the junior season is so important for those who follow those recruiting rankings, those guys who get so caught up into it. It's important to have strong junior year. So he's definitely putting himself as one of the top players in the country for next year. Firmly locked in FSU. Firmly locked in FSU.
Yeah. No, his dad, whenever we had both of them on, it was like there was no playing games. If Florida State, blood and everything, it's just how it rolls in that family. So I don't think he talked about. No, we brought up what about other schools and such. And
so you look at LSU.
Nope, that's not how we work here in this family, in this household. We got to have them back on. We got to have them back on soon.
Yeah,
that was a fun episode. This is a question here.
DeMario Tolan.
Yeah, DeMario Tolan, he's a guy that committed, 4-star linebacker committed to LSU.
I think he waits to see who they bring in first. He's a guy who I think likes what LSU has to offer as a university. So I think he waits and see who takes over. If a guy like Jimbo comes in, you can forget all the LSU guys who are on the board. They'll sign with LSU, but he's an option. I know, 24/7 had to update with him. I know he mentioned that Florida State is still up there. They have not stopped recruiting him. They've still pushing the hell out of getting him. And he's what's needed if you really want to, be transparent. He's a guy that fits the need at linebacker. When you move to a 4-2-5 alignment or go into like sub package defense, he's a guy who can play that will and also slide inside in your traditional 4-3-3-4 lineup. So, if they can get that flip, that'd be a huge feather in the cap because that kid's needed. And then you look at Terrence Welsh. I know he's been active on Twitter recently and Instagram with Florida State stuff. Who knows? Louisiana kids are like Mississippi kids. The top kids hardly ever leave Louisiana, especially with the success that LSU's had over the past few years. But this kid's been to FSU multiple times. He's taken an official visit. So once all that stuff happens, you have to consider FSU as a legitimate contender. And if they could get a guy like Terrence Welsh, who, on the hoof, 6 feet plus, long arms, is a really good defensive back, that'd be a great flip. And then, Emory Jones, sorry I didn't mention him, Austin, as a possible replacement tackle. Florida State was one of his finalists before he committed to FSU. They could possibly revisit Emory Jones and try to get him in the fray as a replacement for Aliou Ba.
Mm-hmm. This is a question from Larry saying, do you think LSU coach is still out there trying to recruit for them, or would he let the new coach that's coming in there recruit his own players? Or how does that transition work, do you think?
I mean,
just in general,
they're obligated to continue to recruit. But we saw
Fisher. Sorry,
we saw it firsthand that they don't necessarily have to do it. They can make a decision for themselves. Why put forth the effort? Why put forth the effort? Florida State had guys like Wanye Morris and Charles Cross and Justin Fields about to commit. They were looking at landing Owen Papo. But Jimbo stopped recruiting because he knew he was out the door. So, I mean, I'd be surprised if Ed Orgeron goes out there and still continues to recruit. I wouldn't be surprised if assistants who are wanting to stay on the staff, try to maintain those relationships. So, for FSU's sake, I hope it falls apart and it allows a school like Florida State to get into the door with a guy like Tolan and Welsh and Jones.
And I don't know if it's as much as recruiting it as just maintaining relationships because, like Nate alluded to, these guys, they may not be on the LSU staff, but they want to be on some staff next year. If they can maintain these relationships with these players and maybe get them to their next school, that's something they want to try to do too.
I mean, not to knock whatever, you can assume whatever you want from this statement, but the true professionals don't stop recruiting, and that's just how it is. If you want an opportunity at other schools, or like Austin said, you got to do the right thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then there's another, let's talk on this one right here. This is from Nick. He's always in here commenting all throughout the night, every Wednesday night. He says, we need Shaytree Jr. in the worst way. And Nate, I was just going to ask you too, what schools do you think, we're now mid-season college football, which schools are in the biggest competition along, Florida State, but which top three maybe are there? There's a lot of talk of Oklahoma. I saw in the Discord. The guys were chatting about that.
Oklahoma, Ohio State, Alabama. Excuse me. Oklahoma, Ohio State, Alabama are the three main competitors. You have to look what Oklahoma's doing in Florida. We talked a little bit about this on a recent podcast. They're really hitting Florida real hard. And, from what I understand, he had a phenomenal visit to Oklahoma. They're one to watch, man. Like, people need to really consider Oklahoma as a legitimate possible destination for Jones Jr. And I agree. He's the most important recruit left on the board, other than Coleman, in terms of need. Florida State needs Coleman. They need that explosiveness outside, but for Jones, I've said it before, it's nothing new, but just the optics of it, the legacy recruit, it's all great, but him himself, he's a damn good player. He got a bump in 24/7. I think he's up to number 18 in the country. That On3, that new site that Shannon Terry has, they have him as the number one player in the country over Travis Hunter, which I just cannot agree with. I'm sorry, but but Jones, I think I said it before the season started that I thought that he was going to finish top 25 because I thought he was undervalued coming into the season. The kid is just awesome. He's so good. And you look at what Florida State needs at the end. Yeah, they did a good job last year with the class, and they've been able to get a transfer into a holdover in a guy like Johnson and Thomas. But when you're looking long term, they have to land Jones Jr. They have to, but have to. I don't think have to. Whatever is stronger than have to is what Florida State needs with him.
Yeah. Put the bag down.
And I don't even know if it's necessarily that, man. Like, I wouldn't even put it that route. It's just, it's all about, I think, development, how he can have success on the next level. Can he win? And what's the fastest route to the NFL? Because, if you look at Jones Jr. and his progress and how he's developed his body and everything, God forbid something drastic happens, he is NFL bound in 3 to 4 years. I mean, that's just how it is.
Yeah. Let's touch on this one last thing. This has been great conversation. Good questions asked tonight, recruiting wise. One last thing here. Let's note on it, since I don't think we talked about it last week, or I think this happened. Definitely, we weren't able to talk about it because it was last Friday and we recorded last Wednesday, and we didn't have an instant reaction to do. Travis Hunter says that he's locked in for like the 80th time on ESPN. He talked about his mom, saying that he's making his mom's holding him accountable, and he says that he wants to be the next great DB at Florida State University, and he's said a few times in different interviews that he's going to play, I believe, on McFadden's podcast. He said that he's going to be playing a little bit of offense at Florida State, along with defense primarily, but don't be shocked whenever he's going to be playing on offense. But once again, at least on national television, ESPN, he says that he is indeed locked in, and he talked about visiting other schools, and he just said he's just there for entertainment purposes, and he just lives nearby. But it's just always good to get out every week that Travis Hunter is locked into Mike Norvell and Florida State. I think he's going to have to do that every week if he goes off and visits places. It started whenever he started looking at, or not looking, but going and visiting Georgia, and that obviously stirs up a big time conversation. And
as it should, you know,
it's the number one player in the country.
When you have the greatest recruit of all time committed, there's a lot of pressure to keep him committed. Here's a question for y'all to answer real quick before I continue. Would you think it'd be fair to say that Mike Norvell's job hinders on how long he's at FSU, hinders on them landing Hunter?
I think it gives.
And what comes along with him is why I asked that.
Yeah, it's one of those, if you don't get Hunter, you lose a lot of people in that class. So I can see it just because you're not getting a talent and that you think is necessary to compete in the ACC for the next couple of years, unless he just goes out and absolutely nails the transfer portal year after year. You got to hold on to this class, and that starts with making sure Hunter's 100% locked in, like we all want him to be.
It hurt. It really relies on the free entertainment I'll have at the practices. Me and Noah were talking about it today, and I said, I'll be here first in line with all the additional, probably more credentialed media that will be there to watch Travis Hunter and just watch him work.
I will have to be there.
I think you're gonna have to come up for the week. We got to put Nate in the hotel. I think we have to put Nate in the DoubleTree.
Yeah. but
Nate has to be here. But no, I mean,
I think it's a legitimate question. He is that important to Florida State's future. A guy that's as gifted as he is. I joke around about him being the greatest recruit of all time, because that's where I progressively wanted to take it with him. But he's just on a different level. When you look at elite players, he's elite of the elite, and you can't afford to lose him. But as Florida State fans, I know that we're just so soft mentally and we're so jaded because of everything that's happened over the last 6-7 years. Whether it's a recruit or a coach or whatever it is, we can't take anything as a positive. We always immediately look at the negative. Well, how long before he decommits? Was the comments when Hunter initially made his commitment. Not understanding the guy's background, him being from Florida, being a longtime Florida State fan, wanting to get back into the state, having a great relationship with the coaches, primarily Coach Woodson. So, Florida State has their struggles, and that is going to continue to be a predominant topic with Hunter. You have all these schools, all these reporters that want to get the latest and greatest with him. Everyone wants to be on the breaking news with him. If something happens and he does leave the class, not that I think he's going to, but you also, I'm a guy who really believes you gotta watch what the kid does as much as what he says. So he's been to Georgia now twice. Even though he's saying the right things, I think he still has the door slightly open. And I think he has the door slightly open just in case the bottom falls out. And by that I mean if Florida State does a massive rehaul or overhaul on the coaching staff, or I think that's the bottom falling out for Hunter. As long as the staff stays together, I think that he'll sign in December and be on campus in January. But I think everyone's got to stop freaking about every move this kid makes. It's nauseating to watch.
It's FSU Twitter. What else do you think is going to happen?
But I mean, I understand it. You don't want to lose a guy that gifted. I get it. And it sucks when you see Georgia that's recruiting so well. I mean, they're just recruiting on another level. It's
flipping kids everywhere, left and right.
Flipping 5-stars left and right like it's nothing.
Literally, not even the other day, just every day.
Yep. I get it. But
yeah,
some kids want to be part of change too. And I think that's really where Hunter lies right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, and the biggest thing is the tie between Norvell and Travis Hunter, along with Woodson. I mean, and two, looking at the DBs, we've seen some progress there too, and guys have been playing better. And so that's what we have to keep an eye on moving in throughout the rest of the season. But that DB play, at least North Carolina game, got better. And you got to hope that progression goes well. And then you look at it after the game, Travis Hunter's on IG Live, celebrating with them, dancing on IG Live. So I think a lot of it, what's going to kill it is just the Florida State fan base, and it's understandable.
Yeah,
but
just relax,
going
man.
crazy on social media and just tweeting ridiculous things and such. But that's just how it is.
And call it what you want. Florida State's 2-4. The record sucks, but Florida State is still Florida State. They're still on national television every week. They're still able to draw talent, and it's going to work out. Just everyone relax.
Well, that's the recruiting latest there. A lot of good stuff there. I felt like we did need a good in-depth recap there and had some good questions. And real quick, now 4-star, but whatever. Kevin Coleman. And you still feel pretty optimistic about Kevin Coleman in Florida State?
I feel great about Kevin Coleman. I feel great. I feel great.
Tweet it. Give me like 15 seconds while I tweet it real quick.
So, it comes down to relationships, opportunity, and who's in the class and who's coming in. So I feel really good about that situation.
That's a good thing because that is a talented guy. And if you look at it, I mean, shoot, you could just talk about Malik McLean and how he's, has had a fantastic start to his freshman year, coming in true freshman, and just Norvell can put on the tape for Kevin Coleman and say, here you go. This is what it looks like. But yeah, Kevin Coleman.
But I think those two.
Is Oregon still, or is that kind of dwindled off with maybe Oregon and, them losing and not being so spectacular like they had to start the season and went up there and beat Ohio State?
Screw Oregon.
I know, but we talked about Oregon. You're a little
they
worried.
can piss off, man. Oregon's all bells and whistles, man. They, trying to keep it PG. So
yeah, they lost to Stanford. Obviously, lost to Stanford.
That's fine. Stanford was my preseason pick in that conference. So
watch out for UCLA this weekend. I think that's gonna be a pretty good game. I think it's gonna be a pretty good one. Chip Kelly going against the Ducks. Yeah. Let's jump into some practice observations from the last 2 days. I was in attendance on Tuesday, and Noah and I were there this morning. Norvell said that Tuesday's practice might have been the best that he's ever had during his tenure at Florida State. Pretty interesting stuff there. That's a good sign. Nate and Austin, I think it's pretty big that this is a bye week and they're having really good practices. I don't know if that's just me, but for a team that is working to get their mental straight and still growing up as a young team, to see them performing very well, and for Norvell and the coach, who's definitely a guy that is very strict on how practices work and the energy's got to be there and guys understanding where they need to be. That's a good sign for, not maybe overlooking UMass. I felt like if we looked back at the practices during Jacksonville State, which we didn't get to see during that time, it was the week after we got to be credentialed, but I bet it's a big change from probably that Jacksonville State week to now this UMass game. But Norvell loved practice and kind of up and down today. He said, I still thought it was pretty good. It started off sloppy with the offense, but
that's what I was going to say, Logan. Like, that's great. He says on Tuesday, and they come out and they're inconsistent today. Part of that is probably still being a younger team, but you talk about Jacksonville State, and from everyone that we talked to and heard, that was just a really bad week of practice overall. Just the engagement and focus wasn't there that they saw leading up to Notre Dame. And even the coaching staff kind of admittedly said that they maybe not necessarily took that game seriously, and you have an embarrassing loss. So I would hope and pray that they would learn from that and understand you can't take anyone lightly, especially with the way FSU is right now, not being so dominantly better in terms of talent. They still have to scheme plays open and all that kind of stuff. But, it is good to see and hear coming off back-to-back wins that they are having some progression in practice, because, you know, we talked a little bit about it, I think, last week, you know,
And Nate's gone. We lost Nate. The usual, lose him for about 5 seconds, and he jumps back in. But VZ?
I was going to say, we talked about it a lot in the offseason. We need them to get over this mental midget phase, and really starts with not being complacent. You know, congrats. You've had a little bit of success winning 2 games.
Every time, man.
Don't get complacent. Go out there and keep doing your job. I feel like we saw that going into the Jacksonville State game, where they're kind of complacent with how they played against Notre Dame. Like, oh yeah, we did all right. We'll be fine against Jacksonville State. I'm glad they had the energy up. Let's hope it shows up on Saturday.
Yeah, but what I was going to say was that, you know, the back end of the schedule is not as tough as it once seemed. And there's a chance to still have a salvageable season. So, you know, I hope that the players see it, that, you know, there's still a chance to be bowl eligible. There's still a chance to have a winning record despite starting 0-4. Does it happen? It's going to be it's going to be a battle, but they have a legitimate opportunity to make that happen. So, you know, I'm happy to hear that they're taking practice seriously, and, you know, that they're having good practices, quality.
Absolutely. Eric, always coming through and hanging out with us. Dropped a 20 bomb on us. NG crew bringing Noles scoop. Chick-fil-A's coming. I'll be in town Friday afternoon for the UMass game. Hopefully run into you guys at Madison Social. Go Noles. If you see one of us, I know it'll just be me. Dustin doesn't like to go out after games. He just goes home and, like,
he's not allowed.
He does. Yeah, he isn't allowed. Yeah, he's got to have approval from the fiance. So
I'm pretty sure
that's definitely not happening.
Game over 6:33. I need you home at 7:09.
Yeah,
traffic is not an excuse.
Yes, but Eric, thank you so much for the kind donation. I always appreciate you jumping in here and hanging out with us every evening. But this is a question here from Nick. The practice notes kind of read if Milton is digressing a little bit. 2 interceptions, apparently thought so. This was from earlier today, whenever Milton was going through scout team. I think today, though, plays were just made by the DBs really well. I don't take too much out of first team versus scout on any side of the ball, offense, defense, but there's just some guys that made some plays today. I do think, you know, it's a mix. It's a 50-50 kind of thing between right now Chubba Purdy and also Milton on who's getting the reps and how much. But, you know, the biggest thing I've seen with Milton in practices is just kind of being there and, you know, talking with the guys and maybe giving some tips here and there. But, you know, it just is what it is. I mean, Florida State is now named a true, you know, starting quarterback, and that's just how it goes. I wouldn't say he's digressing, but it's hard to say anything of digressing anyways until I just got to see it on a football field in a game. I wouldn't count anything towards this in scout. There was a lot of miscommunication too. That's why Norvell said it was really sloppy today for the offense, at least.
Yeah. Also, too, you know, I think people would be surprised at just how many interceptions are in the practice. You know, he was throwing interceptions earlier in the year when he was starting, so I wouldn't take too much into that other than what they are.
Yeah. Really, I just want to name a few guys this week that have played very well. Number 1, and it's like number 1, and then there's a good amount of people, and then there's 2 and 3. Malik McLean. I mean, last week during the bye week, had a fantastic week of practice, and then once again, I mean, he's been excellent. I mean, he's touchdowns. He and Jordan Travis keep connecting well, and goes to show he's a really good blocker. Norvell has given him a lot of praise the last couple of practices about his blocking. You know, he's getting some hard coaching from Norvell, but that's really a good sign in my opinion. If anybody's played football, you know, if coach is hard after you, then you're doing something right. Just getting, you know, he sees a lot more in you. But Malik McLean has made some beautiful grabs the last couple of practices, and he just looks good. He doesn't look like a true freshman whatsoever. He looks like a junior out there. I think he's one of the cleanest route runners too for his size too, and he's got speed. Malik McLean, that's why I predict this weekend for him to have a really big game, and be able to get him off the field in the fourth.
He's earned those reps, you know, along with his ability to block on the outside. I think has also helped the run game kind of take the next step, you know, for a freshman. his physicality and the way that he's punishing guys, man. Like he really is. So that's great to see from a guy who's young and hasn't had a ton of chances to get the ball, but I think that you got to find a way to reward him this week against a vastly inferior opponent and let him get some feel good plays.
Yeah, and some things injury wise to talk about. Deshaun Corbin was a full participant, along with not fully, but was dressed and participating in a few things, was Devontae Love Taylor. So that's good signs there for Florida State, and we'll see what happens this Saturday. I personally wouldn't be shocked to see Devontae Love Taylor get another week of rest before going up to Clemson. That's just also my thoughts of thinking there's no reason for him to play. And Zane Herring has been getting a lot of reps. I will note that. Something to keep an eye on too. Haven't seen a lot of Zane Herring during his early career here at Florida State, but he dealt with some injuries too once he first arrived, and didn't get to play his first season. But keep an eye on number 55. We'll see how seems like Florida State's ready to see some action from Zane Herring this upcoming weekend.
Remember, Zane Herring was a starter before he got hurt. So
yeah, I mean, they tried playing around with him during the spring and early fall camp at center too, which is worth noting. But I do like him on the interior side there. So we'll see. We're interested to see how that works out. So injury wise, that's kind of about it. Nothing more notable there. I'm trying to think practice wise, but really Malik Malane. And then I got to say it just because he's had great practices.
Don't even say it, dude.
I'm gonna say
it's not even worth saying it, man.
I gotta put it on here. Who knows? Saturday it could be. I gotta say his name. So then if he does go off, then I get to get all the credit. And then there's one more person, but Jordan Young, fantastic week of practice. I think I know what's maybe the playing time, what's causing that, but man, that dude can make some plays. It's just, I think there's some things that just holding him back, but would love to see some 83 on Saturday if there's any chance, because he's fun to watch just covering him and just being neutral. That's a fun football player to watch at practices. He's been playing very well. And then Emmett Rice, something to note on here. Emmett Rice, I eyed him really early on. He's a guy that I always keep an eye on to see if he's full participant, if he's partial, but he was actually doing linebacker drills today for the first time. And Norvell talked about it after the practice, noting that it feels like Emmett Rice is getting closer and closer to being available to play. So we might be able to see a little Emmett Rice later on in the second part of the season. And that's a veteran guy in the linebacker room that I think Florida State still needs there. I know you talked about Gainer and having an up and down season so far, but he finished off the season great last year. And if Rice is good to go and fully healthy here in the next couple weekends, could you have him available against Clemson? I don't think so, but a few weeks later for some of your other matchups against Miami, he's still got some good competition. NC State, there's gonna be some times to really need him. So something to keep an eye on for the veteran linebacker for sure. Yeah, I think that's it for practice observations. Let's talk NFL. Noles. Dalvin Cook went off this past weekend. Your guy over there for the Vikings. You were in person, VZ. How'd it feel seeing the best running back in the league?
I'll say second best. Back. I'll say second best because Derrick Henry's
Najee Harris
right now.
Najee Harris
no,
isn't
stop
too
it.
bad. Yeah. Najee
oh,
Harris
guys, stop.
Derrick Henry's number one, and then I'll put Dalvin second. He was awesome. It was great seeing him tear up the Panthers defense. So we have a really good rush defense. They'd been allowing 50 yards or less in 4 of the 5 games they played. And he finished, I forget what the exact number was, but it was 130 something. Shout out the offensive line for giving him holes that he hasn't had much in his career, and he was absolutely making the most of the opportunities. The touchdown he had, he went all out, stretched out for the goal line. At first, they called him down at the 1. It was ended up being a score. Scored a Ryan Ryan's on 2 in my corner. That was awesome to see. It was good to see him.
He did it just for you, Austin.
He did.
He knew you were there.
Yeah,
he did.
I really appreciate it. It was good to see him tear up. Because he's still not 100% off that ankle injury, and you could tell because there was a couple of times where he should have gotten away and he just didn't. So that ankle's still healing, and Like people mentioned in the comments, he's going back to number 4 next season, which I can't wait for. 33 is such an ugly number.
I was kind of vibing with that. I did not like it whatsoever once he first had it on, but I was starting to vibe with it.
I wonder how much money he's going to have to pay this year in order to switch to 4, because that's what
it's upwards of I know it's upwards of $1 million.
Yeah, for some people it's like 2.
Man, I'd wait too. Don't forget that.
Oh man, yeah, no. So yeah, Dalvin Cook's was on Patrick Peterson and Brian McFadden's podcast. Shout out to Brian McFadden, Hear the Spirit alum on here. He talked on there and broke the news that he's going back to number 4. So Florida State fans are going to love it. I mean, those jerseys. I mean, Austin, when are you going to be buying that? Like the second it drops, or like the split second
it drops? And I'll get a white one too, because I don't have a white Vikings jersey. It's going to be a white one.
Oh, that'll be fresh. That'll be nasty. But yeah, Dalvin Cook's going back to number 4. So that's some good breaking news there from the McFadden and Patrick Peterson podcast. Shout out to them. And then Dustin Hopkins gets released from Washington.
That's surprising.
They got decimated still. Like they thought that's the problem in Washington.
Well, what are his stats? I mean, just doing.
He missed one field goal on Sunday.
Yeah, doing the NFL Noles, it's not like he's having a bad season.
Yeah. No, he'll get picked.
It's kind of weird.
His career's not over anywhere. His career's not over.
I thought that was kind of a weird cut. Because
I think they blew it by now. Wanted to stick with blew it. So
I
think Washington blew it.
Hopefully the Vikings pick him up, because we can never have a good kicker.
There you go. Yeah. Or don't put that bad juju on him. I don't want him going there now at all. Don't do that to him. Come on. Jameis Winston had bye weeks, so nothing on him, but he actually has a Monday Night Football game, a pretty big one, even though I saw it at the gym and I don't remember who the opponent. Seahawks. Never mind. So not really too fascinating unless Russell Wilson comes back, but I don't think that's happening yet.
Yeah.
Jameis versus Geno, 8:15 in Seattle. So I'll be watching that. I always like watching Seattle games over there. So it'll be nice and loud there on Monday Night Football. And then Derwin James.
Yep.
Nate, go ahead and talk about your boy, Derwin James. Forced fumble.
Yeah.
Just doing what he does.
Team leading 8 tackles, just doing what, every all-world defensive guy does,
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised they got whooped like they did, though. Baltimore put it. I mean, it's not a great style matchup, but I thought it'd be a little bit more competitive.
But shout out Devontae Freeman getting a touchdown in that game.
Yeah, Devontae was a leading rusher for the Ravens.
Yeah, I thought he looked pretty good.
9 carries, 58 yards, and a touchdown.
Good for him, man.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, but
Auden Tate got a touchdown for the Bengals.
Yep.
That's right. Auden Tate got 6.
I didn't even put him in the article this week. I totally forgot about that.
Damn.
Come on,
damn,
Nate.
But now we know we'll never get Auden on here now. Damn it.
Damn it.
It's all your fault. God damn.
So I think Derwin's got to be there for comeback player of the year.
Probably so. Yeah, he's best safety right now.
He's a contention for defensive player of the year. You got to look at that. He's having a great season. Asante had a good game. Not much. Darby for Denver he's second in tackles. Second on the team in tackles.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily a great thing if your corner is second in tackles, but he had 5 tackles.
Josh Sweat's having a good season too. Really good season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Brian Burns being Brian Burns. Yep. I mean, he just does what he always does.
Not this last game.
Dalvin made him look silly a couple times.
Yeah. The offensive line.
To see the game.
The offensive line only let up like 3 pressures the whole game. And that's a good defensive line for Carolina. Between Brian Burns, you got Gross Matos, you got Derek Brown. I mean, they got some talent on that D-line. Vikings offensive line just did a really good job.
Has Jalen Ramsey allowed a touchdown yet this season?
Yeah.
Or is that still on lockdown?
I don't think so.
Last time I remember, he hasn't allowed one yet. We haven't heard anything on him. That's usually a really good sign. I haven't heard much. It's all about Aaron Donald and such. But
I was debating
having a secretly really good season.
I was debating someone at work about that. They were saying that Jalen's not having a great year at corner. I'm like, because he's not playing corner. If you really, look at it. He's playing everywhere. It's like he did at Florida State year 2.
Yep.
Playing in the box, in the slot, out wide, deep. He's playing everywhere. So, yeah, he's not matching up man to man with the best receiver every game, but he's being utilized differently.
Yeah. Joyner, yes, he is still in the NFL. He just injured this season with the Jets. I was looking forward to a Hampson-Nasruddin / Joyner combination. Talk about tackles. Whew. Those two would lead the defense, in my opinion. And I'd still think Joyner being with Hamza or Hamza being with Joyner is huge for just watching film and everything. Joyner's a really smart football player. So Hamza's getting some extra. That's an extra coach that he has on his side there. Nate, one last thing too. Chris Thompson to the Bears.
Practice squad. I can't really say.
And it's the Bears, so
yeah. give it time. They got the quarterback. They just need a wide receiver, a new head coach,
an offensive
line. Some playmakers on the back end of the defense.
An edge rusher.
A guy opposite Khalil Mack. Someone to step up in the middle. Just a couple spots. Short up on,
Sure.
It'll be fine.
Real quick to note on, we put a piece out about it, but Terrence Brooks, former Noles 2013 national champion, had a really scary injury against the Indianapolis Colts last Sunday. Actually had to stay in Indianapolis, the hospital there. He's already been ruled out for this upcoming weekend, but he had a lung contusion and was unable to travel back home with the team. So, best of luck to him in recovery there. That's obviously a scary injury, and he's had a stellar career throughout, so far in the NFL. So, I've always loved Terrence. He's represented Florida State well. I'm currently full black screen right now, and I'm coming back. There we go. I thought I was about to disconnect and be like Dustin and not be here for the podcast, but let's jump into real quick. Florida State versus Clemson kicking off at 3:30 in Death Valley. Austin, you'll be there, but a little afternoon primetime action.
I love it.
I was thinking about driving up for this. I don't know if I really want to spend that much time with Austin though all day long.
Wow. That's
I
hurtful.
would. I would, Austin.
It's perfect for me being in Charlotte because it's a 3-hour drive, so it's a one-day trip. I don't have to get a hotel anywhere.
Look at that.
Just drive up.
Have you ever gotten a hotel, Clemson?
No, there's nothing there.
You gotta get a cabin.
You have the one hotel off the highway, on the opposite end of Cracker Barrel. And it's not a bad hotel. I stayed there one time, but it's like, where else do you stay?
Yeah, when the basketball team travels, they literally stay 45 minutes from the arena. It's just nothing. It's just
shithole. Clemson.
Yeah, just dirt and trash.
Clemson, South Carolina. Freaking rednecks.
Hey, I like Clemson's campus. That's all I like. Yeah, That's it.
Yeah,
I think they have.
Man.
I can't say that anymore. Can't say that anymore.
What, Jameis is home?
Screwed myself. Well, no, I can say that for sure. Oh, no, that's not it. It's a personal thing. I can't say that live.
It's him having a girlfriend now. That's what it is.
Yeah. All righty. Let's jump into, hey, text our number. Text us for updates 24/7, 850-616-8661. I'm not even playing around. I'm giving you all live updates after practice. So 90% of them go to the Discord, but if you guys are watching live right here, take advantage. It's actually me texting. I might get these guys on there too because there's a lot of basketball questions that come in here. Yeah. But it's actually us.
We should 24/7 live update Dustin's back shaving.
Yeah, you can have live updates of what we're doing behind the scenes. I don't know if you want to know about Nate and what he's doing.
Now, should I tell them when I came into the production meeting? What was on the screen?
No.
You really want to go there?
No, I don't think so. I don't even think we want to know that. But if you do want some real Florida State updates, 24/7 breaking news and a little bit of inside scoop, but more 90% of it goes into the Patreon, so we're not going to give you everything. But you can text the number 850-616-8661. 8661. Whenever Florida State lands a commit, that's the number. We're going to be texting that. If Florida State loses a commit, we text you it. It's breaking news. It's at the fastest. It's better than social media, and it just goes to your phone. It's actually me texting you. It's not some bot or some BS like that. And it's going to come in clutch for National Signing Day. So we're going to try to get this thing going a lot more. So 850-616-8661. And if you do text that number, we are doing a giveaway on there only for those numbers too. So we've got a lot of Celsius stuff. We've still got pop sockets, and we've got shirts. So text that number. It is going to be the best way. And you also can ask us questions. So yeah. Let's jump into some more stuff here, gentlemen. Basketball latest, and then we'll talk some Florida State versus UMass and get
I
out
thought
of
we were
here.
going to talk Clemson.
Well, yeah, go ahead. Go. Like, what are we thinking? Florida.
they're
going to face Pittsburgh.
You brought it up, and you just blew
all
right by it.
All it was.
Well,
was
I had to.
Yeah, all it was announcing game time. We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about a ton next week.
Nick already texted us.
I got plans for next week. Just know, I got plans for next week. So
we got to make sure Austin doesn't come up in the press box wearing FSU swag. That's what I got to worry about.
I will be wearing an FSU undershirt. You can guarantee that.
Yeah.
Oh God, it better be hidden.
They won't see it. It's underneath.
But yeah, let's talk about it real quick. Clemson faces Pittsburgh this upcoming weekend, and then Florida State obviously travels up there for the big game. We're not overlooking UMass, right? We're not doing that.
Who?
Right? The Walt Bellers. We're not doing that.
The Fighting Walt Bells. They were not overlooking them. I guarantee the team's not, especially the guys that were there 2 years ago. Yeah, they're not overlooking this.
No. Robert Strickland, shout out, just texted us. Sorry, I'm just trying to market the text number. What do you want to talk about Clemson about? Are you
I'll
defense good, offense not so great? Yeah, we'll have a great podcast for that, and we'll have guests too. We have a special guest coming on too, former Noles, currently in the NFL, coming on next week for that. So get ready for that. Let's talk some basketball. Things are churning up. Austin, last week you were at the tip-off, ACC tip-off, and the APC preseason poll came out. Florida State ranked number 20th, and then the ACC voting came in this morning. Number 2, the first time ever, behind Duke. It went Duke, Florida State, North Carolina, Virginia. I don't know. I can't remember. Was I close? I think I was pretty close there.
Yeah, I think on the money, honestly. I'm pretty sure it was, I'd have to pull it up real quick, but it should be, I got it right here. Yeah, Duke, FSU, Virginia. Oh my God. Duke, FSU, Carolina, Virginia, Virginia Tech, Louisville, and then from there, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, who gives a damn?
Yeah, it was, I was a little bit surprised by the 20th AP spot. I thought they'd be like 16, 17 range. I think they're going to be, I think they're going to be a little bit better than Tennessee. I think they'll be better than Carolina. Probably better than Ohio State, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But then the ACC stuff comes out, and I was pleasantly surprised. I put Florida State second in my bracket as well, but they got 14 first place votes. I mean, that's a lot.
I don't understand the preseason 20th whatever ranking, but being number 2 in the ACC.
It's just different media members.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't balance out to me.
Yeah, it doesn't really balance out. And you kind of figured Duke would get all the love with it being Coach K's last year.
Mm-hmm.
I put them first in my preseason ballot for the ACC media voting. They're also the most talented team in the ACC. Frankly, that team's stacked. You can see it with Paolo Banchero winning both preseason freshman of the year and player of the year. That doesn't really happen for freshmen much in any league, but also kind of tells you the state that the ACC is in right now. Then you go to the ACC teams. First team, not really surprised. Buddy Boeheim, Kive Aluma, Banchero, Amanda Baycott, and Isaiah Wan. Not a surprise. The surprise came in the second team because you could really only vote for one team. Like you could only vote for 5 players.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that Prentice Hub, Wendell Moore, Malik Williams, and Caleb Love got first team votes to make it to second team is dumb. These are not guys that are better than Anthony Polite. They're just not. And I'm not even saying Anthony Polite deserved to be there. I'm just saying these guys did not deserve to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Had Caleb Mills been on the ballot, I would have voted for him 100%, but he wasn't on the ballot. The only 2 Florida State guys that were on the ballot were Malik Osborne and Anthony Polite. So
Yeah. Do that.
it was a weird ballot. Like Wake Forest had 3 guys you could vote for. FSU had 2. So take that for what you will.
Hey, but you got to get in there, man. You got to get
I
a little
did.
voting in.
I
Can you
did.
tell
It
us
was
who you
fun.
voted for?
Yeah, I will. For preseason player of the year, I did Buddy Boeheim. I just thought coming off his tournament run, I thought he was going to be the runaway favorite, but they did Banchero. I had him for preseason freshman of the year. So that was obvious. I don't think there's anybody else even close. First team, I pretty much had the exact first team they had. Instead of Banchero, I had Kihei Clark. I just don't like putting freshmen as one of the 5 best players in the conference for a league for a level of basketball he's never played in yet. I'm not saying he's not that talented. I'm just one of those. I want to see it first before I give him that cred. And then for my preseason predicted order of finish, I'm not going to spoil everything because that's going to be in my ACC preview article next week.
Yep.
But I will say I had Duke and Florida State too. And then from there I went a little bit differently. But
okay.
Otherwise, I wasn't really surprised by anything other than that some of these guys were second team, like Wendell Moore and Caleb Love, because Caleb Love was the most inefficient player in college basketball, or not college basketball, but in the ACC last year. He was awful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you think this is a 25-win team?
It's tough. You know, that stretch of February is rough. You know, playing at Virginia, at Carolina, at Duke in the same month, that's tough. And the early couple months, the offense is going to be rough. The first couple months as these freshmen learn how to operate in the system. It's just the way it is. And, you know, now that I'm starting my schedule preview now where I go through game by game before the season, predict win or loss. Some of those teams where you're like, I don't know, it's probably a win. These are good teams. Loyola Marymount's a really good team. And I mean a really good team. They finished 3rd in the West Coast Conference last year, which is the same conference Gonzaga, San Francisco, you know, St. Mary's. That's a conference they're in. So the fact they finished 3rd in the first year of a head coach, that's going to be a good team this year. Florida's talented. I just think they're undersized. I'm going to talk about it in the articles here in a couple weeks, but they only have 3 guys that are taller than 6'4", whereas Florida State has 2 guys below 6'5". I just think it's a bad matchup for Florida.
Love to see it.
That Purdue game is going to be rough, and I mean rough. Purdue's one of the best teams in the country. Jaden Ivey was, I believe, voted All-American second team. It's a really talented team. So we'll see. They absolutely have the talent to be a 25-win team. It's just it may take a little bit to gel together. They're absolutely going to be at least a 22-win team, and that's at the bare minimum.
There's a question here from Ball asking, Dylan Mitchell coming, ? Chandler Jackson is coming on a visit this weekend to see Leonard Hamilton.
If you would see our whole game day basketball group chat, Dylan Mitchell's not coming. He picked up 2 crystal balls to Texas today. And just based on what we've heard, it looks like he's going to Texas. I'll leave it at that. I don't want to say anything I'm not supposed to say. Or get in trouble for it. But yeah, you do have Chandler Jackson coming in this season, talented combo guard out of Tennessee. They've been after him a really long time, and I mean a really long time, like 2.5, 3 years. It's one of those recruitments. I just don't see him leaving the state where it's going to be probably to me it's Tennessee or Memphis. I think Florida State's 3rd in this recruitment, but they're getting that fifth and final visit, which is huge. He's also coming to campus with Jeremiah Bembry, kind of a no-name if you just look at the rankings. He, currently he's unranked, but he's got a really big offer list. LSU, Ole Miss, Rutgers, Georgia Tech. Really talented point guard, 6'6". That by the time his season wraps up, I wouldn't be surprised if he's a top 150 guy. Really talented player. He's coming to campus this weekend as well. So not just Chandler Jackson, but going back to the Dylan Mitchell part, doesn't look like it's happening unless something changes here in the next week or two, which is a shame. At one point, Florida State thought they were getting Dylan Mitchell, Dariq Whitehead, Jay-Z Gortman, and Julian Phillips. If Gortman doesn't sign with Overtime Elite, you're probably looking at all those guys coming to Florida State. But Gortman goes to overtime, and things start falling apart.
There were some preseason awards, too, Austin, that came out.
I mean, I talked about it.
You did talk about it. I'm completely lost. I'm completely lost.
Pay
I'm looking
attention,
at other.
Dude.
Golly, I'm a loser.
We could talk about Matthew Cleveland getting named to the Julius Erving watch list, but
yeah,
that's about it.
What server at a restaurant? What?
Julius Erving watch list.
What is that? What does that mean? Because for some of us, I don't know, and I guarantee 75% of the listeners don't know. What does that award go to?
Pretty sure it's top small forwards.
Okay, I would have zero clue.
Let me just...
Speaking for the people here, Austin, I'm trying to get educated along with helping.
Let me just look real quick, because I was at work when they announced it.
Go ahead.
The top small forward of the year.
Top small forward, okay. Matthew Cleveland, definitely going to be fun to watch. That's going to be a guy that I can't wait to watch in the Tuck this upcoming season. And then real quick, too, listen to this after my Warriors beat the, I won't say a bad word, the sissy Lakers. Scotty Barnes, Charles Barkley showing him some love, the rookie from Florida State, saying that he thinks he's going to be the best rookie out of that top 7 that were drafted in his class. Said that he's going to be the best rookie out of there, and gave Scotty Barnes a lot of love. So really cool stuff there.
Based on this first game, probably not going to happen. Currently, as they start the fourth quarter, Barnes has 9 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 turnovers. So,
Shit.
he was always going to be one of those players. I don't think he's going to be the best rookie. He's one of those guys. He's going to have to grow into himself and grow into his role.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think Jalen Green's got that rookie of the year locked up just because he's going to get the points. He's going to get the opportunity. And Cade Cunningham's hurt right now. So
Barnes is going to have some really great games, and he's going to have some games where you're like, what the hell?
He's one of those guys where he's just going to flash on the screen and you go, what the hell was that? Like, that was amazing. Like, the Raptors posted a video of him today doing a spin skyhook in transition. Like, what is this?
I saw that.
But he's one of those guys, super raw. It's going to take him some time to develop, and we've talked about this. We talked about it when he was drafted. We talked about it back in March when Los was like, why is this guy so highly ranked in the NBA draft? It's just the way it is. It's going to take some time for him to grow into himself, but give him 2-3 years, he'll be a really good player, especially with Nick Nurse coaching him up there in Toronto.
Yep. Things starting to click. We've got Austin and Jacob doing a fantastic job. I can't wait. This tandem, Austin already kills it. I think he has the best coverage in basketball on the beat, but adding Jacob into this, this allows Austin to get into more diving into what he does best and getting game previews out for you guys.
Literally Austin, like, elite.
Here we go. He's going to say talking to recruits. You ready for it? You ready for it?
It will make him elite in terms of his basketball coverage, as if he talked to recruits.
He does that now. He does that alone now. Hey. Now I got to let him rest. Maybe this offseason you could have had him doing a few things, but now I got to let him rest his fingers.
He's going to ruin his fingers. Basketball recruits.
Oh, hey, he's doing it.
Yeah, I'm focused on the season.
He's the season. That's why we got now Jacob's in there. One day,
my 4,000 word ACC preview will be out next week. That's what I've been working on the last 2 to 3 weeks.
We've got a baby Austin. He's getting his first debut of the season coming up soon. So we've got Austin and baby Austin getting after it. So basketball coverage, I'm telling you. I mean, the site, it's on, you can go to our site, nolegaming.com, Sports Illustrated there. Tons of content spewing out. Jacob's he's going to do a really fantastic job helping out doing recruiting this upcoming season. And he's already doing it right now. I mean, he's networking like a crazy person. It's just in his blood, but great coverage so far from Austin.
And I will say this, we are 8 days away from our first exhibition game for basketball.
Ooh. It's getting litty-figgy.
October 28th, they play Mississippi College, if anyone's ever heard of them, because I have not. But we're 8 days away from Florida State taking the court against somebody. Excited.
Do you think Dustin first went to school there? I feel like it took him long enough to graduate.
I would say he was in college for 9 years. You would think he was somewhere.
I didn't know Dustin was so old, man. It's scary to think of. All right, let's jump into some good stuff. People are tired of hearing about that. Let's jump into Florida State versus UMass, because why not? Let's jump into Florida State versus UMass. Everybody's excited. Florida State faces the Minutemen on Saturday at noon on a extravagant, wonderful TV provider, ACC Network. We all know and love them the most, and we all love their commercials. anyways, Florida State and the Minutemen this upcoming weekend. Walt Bell is coming into town. They just most recently got a win against the big fighting UConn Huskers. Wow. Good stuff there. Huskers. I knew I said that
Logan,
wrong.
One is a dog. The other is someone who shucks corn. So, it's a little slightly different.
Does it really matter, though? Does it really matter? But I was going to ask a question to you guys real quick to start off here. How many points does FSU have to win for you to feel good? Because you can still win this game, and you can leave the stadium feeling
90.
Go all out, huh?
I want
90?
I want 100 nothing. I want 100 nothing.
That'd be
they need
great.
to just put it on this scumbag. They just need to just put the pedal to the metal and just score 100 points on this.
People really hate Walt Bell, and I'm not saying that he's a perfect person and whatever.
No,
I just think
the guy is one of the.
No, he can't be on your tier. He can't be on your tier of Dabo Sweeney or Brian Kelly. There's no way he's on that tier. It takes and there's someone else doing the ACC.
Urban.
Who else is
Urban. No, it's Urban.
Urban's on that tier.
And there's another one though in the ACC. Dave Dolan. Yeah,
I thought he was the second tier.
No, he's on tier 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we lost Logan. Wow.
Oh, nice.
This is new. I like this.
All right. So now, anyways, I haven't studied UMass 1 iota because I don't care.
Go in and dive into that.
I have looked up their game logs at the very least. This is what Florida State is competing with as far as what they need to beat them by. They started their season against Pittsburgh, lost 51-7. Then lost to Boston College 45-28. Lost to Eastern Michigan 42-28. Lost to Coastal Carolina. This is great. 53-3. Then lost to Toledo 45-7 before finally beating UConn last week. So that's the kind of range you're looking for. If Florida State doesn't win by honestly 35, that's a disappointment.
I want to see FSU put up 50 and win by 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm.
It makes you feel good.
Yeah, like they need to just put it on this scumbag, man. Like just have him leave Tallahassee with his tail tucked between his legs. Don't even do a post-game handshake. Give him the bird as you walk off and tell him to get the hell out.
So I take it you're not a big Walt Bell fan?
Not one bit.
Dang, man. Is it because of his hair?
For the guy to call and reach out to Sam Howell after and do what he did about how just negative recruiting the shit out of FSU and Willie Taggart, and that's a shame on Taggart for relying too much on that relationship with Walt Bell. But for him to do that, man, we talked a little bit earlier about Ogeron and the LSU staff having some professionalism, continuing to recruit. This guy's the exact opposite, man. Should have never been at Florida State, was in above his head, and it's just a scumbag, man. It needs to be like a 60-0 win. Give him the double bird, hit the bus and go.
I could see this going the direction of somehow UMass gets really motivated to play Walt Bell's former team and they somehow score 30. I have this really bad scenario in my head of that happening. I really pray it doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
I might break my phone if that happens.
Haven't you already, or is that Dustin who's punched something? No, you punched something already this season. You punched a table, or was that last season? I think it was last season.
It was last season.
Table. Yeah, you punched a table. I think Dustin's already had a few punching, but he punched whenever he was excited about the North Carolina game.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about us being credentialed. We got to stay neutral. Look at him celebrating during the damn North Carolina game. You can't do that.
No.
Oh, yes, yeah, I can guarantee I'm not going to be neutral. If Florida State goes into Duke while I'm in Cameron Indoor, oh, man.
Austin. It's journalism. Kicking him out.
Austin's rushing the court. Austin's rushing the court after.
Waving my pole
by himself. By himself.
How did we get the basketball talk? All right, we got to mute off. I'm just kidding. So yeah, no, I think Florida State's got to win by 35 to feel really good.
Honestly, I want to see like a 49, 52, 10 type win.
Okay.
I want the game to be over at half. Allow the guys to get out of the game healthy. Get to Clemson, which is has a chance to be a really competitive game. Get out of this one healthy. Get some reps for the younger kids and move on to the next game.
Yeah, and
that's what it needs to be.
Yeah, and if Florida State is leading by a lot and you're expected to see some youngins come in for the second half at some point, which player would you like to see play the most?
Chubba.
That's going to be the obvious answer.
Obvious,
Everyone wants to see Chubba.
Let's see. Hey, Kevin Noles. We didn't really note on that, but Kevin Noles starting this weekend, true freshman.
I like to see. I know Burrell's hurt. That sucks for him. I'd like to see like a Jackson West, a younger tight end get out there and play a little bit more.
I put this question together and I didn't even think of anybody, so that's a great production.
I think like some of these DBs, like McCauley,
Shaheem Brown,
Washington.
Yeah, Shaheem probably for me. I'm trying to think
Cooper
offensively, but not a lot. Yeah.
Ja'Kai Douglas, I'd like to see a little bit more of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd like to see him get some more action. He's been playing a little bit at running back. So we'll see. But yeah, there should be a lot of potential there for some youngins. But Chubba Purdy might get a chance to see. I know Florida State fans want to see him. But there could be some potential. Just Florida State's the game's got to be over at halftime.
Yeah, it can't be like the Jacksonville State game where they're experimenting with stuff. They're doing a whole bunch of different things.
No.
You got to come out, dictate the pace from the set, and then if you're winning 30-0 at halftime, then you can start experimenting. Don't do it from the jump.
Now
play the quarterback thing. Don't do the wildcat stuff.
Yeah.
Play to your strengths. Use your running backs. Get in play action.
Yep.
Then you can have some fun in the second half with whatever you want to do.
Yeah, Nick, I'm right there with you. Jordan Young, I'd like to see Jordan Young this weekend. I still think there's potential there.
What about the young pass rushers?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Montre.
I was going to say Patrick Payton, but I don't know if he's going to
be. Today, Odell had some nice coaching for him. That's all I'll say. He had some really good coaching. But like I said, if a coach is hard on you during a practice, it means things are going well for you and you're progressing. But had some really nice Odell Hagen's coaching. If anybody's know about Odell and how he coaches, it's a little harsh sometimes. But true freshman, he's put on some pounds too. I mean, whole 180 from how he first arrived. Yeah, he did. He's still got to get a little bit leaner and cut off some of the, they just packed on pounds on him, but he'll do that this offseason. But yeah, Patrick Payton, I think would be fun to watch this upcoming weekend if there's some playing time indeed for him. Let's get these score predictions going. Before we do that, let's show some love to one of our best sponsors on the show. They're here with us every week. And they're going to be here for basketball season 2. And that's Hobbit, the best place to get wings in town by far. Even if if you want them, I'm not going to even say boneless, but you can get chicken fingers, little chicken finger bites with sauce on them. Nate, how about that?
I just think it's unfortunate your palate's just not developed enough.
My palate?
To enjoy boneless wings. So,
yeah.
I mean, you're just too young for it.
Yeah, way too young. Way too young. But yeah, Hobbit, definitely go check them out before the game and after the game, because there's gonna be a lot of time after the game. I know a lot of people are gonna be watching the games. For the afternoon crowd and evening crowd, go check out Hobbit. They're right by the stadium, along with location on south side part of Tallahassee. There we go. That was a little hard there for me to say, but Hobbit's great, wonderful food there, and they'll even set you up even on Sundays. Ask for a table to watch whatever NFL team, your NFL team, and they'll set up a whole table for you and your friends and everything. So definitely come and hang out at Hobbit. I think we're going to do some kind of live show or something of that sort soon before the year's over. So they're awesome. Definitely go check them out. The best wings in town. I'm telling you, Carolina Gold. If anybody in the chat, I'm sure there's a few people watching right now or listening that know about that Carolina Gold at Hobbit. And there's also the Garnet Gold if you like a little bit spicier too. But get it. Ask for extra wet, extra crispy. Oh my goodness gracious, I'm starving right now. And on Thursdays and Sundays, they've got deals on wings, so definitely take advantage of that for Thursday night football and obviously Sunday.
Yeah, some wings and a Celsius, man. That's like nutritious dinner.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, we also got our friend Celsius too. I mean, definitely go down to the description if you're on YouTube or if you're on iTunes right now. The link is down below. If you use that link, you get 20% off their new their Fuji drink. God, their Fuji drinks. That gets me every time. I always feel like I'm saying it wrong. Or you can use code 20 FSU Fuji. Phenomenal drinks. I had one at practice this morning along with Tuesday's practice. Got one right here too. Wonderful drinks. 7 essential vitamins too. Had one Tuesday morning and also had one this morning. Went to the gym right after practice. Felt good. And also doesn't have you crash either. No sugar. None all this crazy crap that all these other drinks have in them. So really healthy for you, and they're perfect for workouts too. I don't like energy drinks that you can drink it. Yeah, you can get that high and you can get that like energy. You're caffeinated, but you crash later on. Doesn't happen. Hasn't happened so far with me and Celsius. So definitely shout out to them and definitely take advantage of the link down below. And if you have an Amazon account, it links you right there to 20% off. So shout out to Hobbit. Shout out to Celsius. Gentlemen, let's go ahead and do it. Everybody's been waiting. I mean, they're sweating. Everybody's on the edge of their seat for Florida State versus UMass score predictions. How are we feeling? Dustin didn't even tell us the score predictions. I should text him real quick. Or does he deserve?
He's not going to answer.
He doesn't even deserve to give him. Like, he didn't even think about it. Like Nate last time when he knew he couldn't come on, he at least gave score predictions to us and gave a paragraph.
Yeah,
he's not going to answer. Like, there's 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. He's not going to answer.
What's the score?
Bill, you can email Logan at nolegameday.com. Sorry, Bill. Or sorry, guys. But Logan at nolegameday.com.
That's right.
I'm going to go first. Oh, what did I predict? I got Florida State winning this game 45 to... Oh, man. I did it on the Mark Rogers show, but I really wasn't thinking right. 17 feels like too much for Walt Bell. I'm going to go Florida State 45. UMass 17. I think UMass is going to run a lot of trickery.
Well, there goes my score, because I literally had the exact same score.
What? No, we got to ride together. I
was going to say 45-17.
Okay, me and Austin will ride together.
The spread is currently 35.5. Good teams win, great teams cover. Florida State's not a great team yet, so 45-17.
Damn, Austin is always making sure he throws that in there. I'm surprised.
Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong.
I got the fact that I need it to happen. I need Walt Bell to have just, if I could get, I'll jump on the Jordan Travis train as the GOAT quarterback if he pulls like a Varsity Blues where he throws the ball out of bounds when Mox hits the little cowboy on the horse and knocks him off the horse. If he just does that, tosses it out to Walt Bell, give him a black eye. He needs to leave Tallahassee wounded. Whether it's physically or emotionally, he needs to leave Tallahassee.
I've never heard of someone wish ill upon a coach. This is different.
I can't stand the guy. Man. He's just he might be number 5 on the list. To be honest with you.
Who are you going to replace out of there?
No, I don't know if it's replacing anybody. I just think he's trying to figure out who's the next in line.
I know. So, I think that Florida State puts up points, man. I just think that, I think they found a rhythm offensively. I think that I think they're going to physically dominate UMass. I think they're going to be able to run the ball really well, which I think that, I would like them to, find some stuff, through the air, reward guys like McLean for all their effort. But I think that they're going to just have ball control. It's going to cut down on how much they can score. But I think that honestly, I would say 47-10. I think that Florida State covers. I think that UMass is just not. They're not a great team. I think that's
overstating it. They're bad.
Yeah, I think
really,
that
really bad.
I think that if Florida State can run the ball like they have been, I think they're. I would not be surprised to see like 350 yards rushing, and just physically dominating that team. So I'm gonna go 47-10.
For reference, UMass is currently allowing 225 yards of rushing per game, and that's capped with Coastal Carolina at 313 yards of rushing.
So
there's opportunity there. As long as Florida State doesn't shoot themselves in the foot with turnovers,
right,
they should run away with this.
Florida State's gonna have to still play clean. They're not, they're not Florida State of 2013 or 2014. They're not going to be able to just go out there and coast to a W because they still have warts. But I think that this isn't. It's not a Power 5 team. It's not a conference team. I know people will bring up Jacksonville State. It's a different. I think if Jacksonville State played FSU right now, I think FSU would win comfortably. But
Jacksonville State also cheated. That game never counted.
Yep. Well, yep, exactly. What happened. We moved on, but I think this is a game Florida State wins comfortably.
Mm-hmm. Chad is saying 96 to 1.
No, that's I'm saving that that's Miami.
FSU versus Miami is 96 to 1.
They're playing Canadian rules. They're going to give them a point for a punt.
No, they're gonna get a 2-point conversion safety is what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Larry's saying 37 to 14. So we're all kind of little
if
close.
Florida State scores below 40, I think we're all gonna be really disappointed.
I'd be disappointed.
Yeah, I'd be disappointed if Florida State doesn't score 40 or more. Most certainly. I think that's going to wrap everything up for this week's episode. We'll have an instant reaction to Florida State versus UMass after the game, so keep an eye out for that. We'll give thoughts after the game on Saturday, and we want to once again thank our sponsors, Hobbit, American Bar and Grill here in Tallahassee, along with our friends at Celsius. Go grab a pack while supplies last for FSU Fuji, or that's our code, FSU Fuji. Or 20 FSU Fuji. Sorry, I'm just completely screwing that whole code up. But definitely shout out to Celsius. Always sponsoring the show and keeping us energized for every show. But and homework too. And I had to take a couple sips before homework and help me out. Energize me, Nate. I'm wide awake, baby. I'm wide awake. That week break did me good. Trust me, taking a break from you guys for a little bit. Cleanses the soul. I had a little beach trip too. I know.
Yeah, I saw. I commented.
Oh yeah, I got it. Yeah, on my legs. Lady pregnant lady feet?
No, just lady feet.
Looking sloppy, dude.
I'm looking sloppy? Get out of here. Oh my good God. What am I gonna do with this, man? All right.
Don't need a reference what I came on to, man. To finish it off.
We do not. No. We don't.
Caw-caw, bird. Caw-caw.
Oh, now I know. Okay, yeah, we gotta go.
You didn't know? Oh my God!
I didn't know what. I didn't know. I wasn't. I don't think I was there. All I heard was
you were there.
Bird
you were
chest. There. No, I think it was something about you. Austin.
He's not talking about me.
All right, fellas. Thanks everybody for engaging with us and hanging out with us evening. As always, you can listen to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube. This was a nice episode without Dustin. I do have to put that out there. What a nice. It flowed a little bit better.
Can Boston play Saturday, man? That'd be great.
It would be great.
Yeah, specifically like Saturday, like 5:30.
They're losing too right now, so you know he's in a great.
Oh,
mood.
love it.
Oh, they're losing right now.
Yeah.
Oh, Dustin's losing. Yikesies. That's what happens. That's what happens when you don't show up to hear the Spear and hang out with us every Wednesday nights at 8:30. Everybody enjoy the rest of y'all's week, and the weekend should be beautiful in Tallahassee. Safe travels to anybody coming down. Go Steelers. Steelers are back. Feels good.
They're not. They're
have a great rest of y'all's week. I can't hear you, Austin. You're cutting out.